It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Yeah, the heat is on. The heat is on. The heat is on. Who's it on? You would think it's on us. It's on the people. I mean, we just got man is in our face at every level. No matter, even if you make the mistake of believing in whatever system there is, and you say, I want to do what's right. I want to do what's legal. I want to be, not having to look over my shoulder from, somebody come take my goodies, my justly acquired goodies. And here we have, a good example of this. And I want to, we'll dwell on it a little bit because here we have Addison Wiggin is come up with a documentary. He was going to be, they're talking about how are we going to pull ourselves out of this global malaise we have in the economy? What was wrong? Well, when the economy gets back on track. When they get it together, we'll be. And Addison in the break we were talking about, he's like, it wasn't on track to begin with. So they're doing a movie a documentary kind of highlighting, and he just happened to stumble across this intrigue between these countries trying to just steal this $500 million worth of stuff to get some political connected guy a painting. Do we have a value on that painting? How much is that painting worth to begin with?
We don't have a value on the painting right now. It just came out in the WikiLeaks last week. So it's been held in a museum in Madrid for some time. And, of course, everybody's saying, oh, we don't know anything about it. No, that wasn't true. But the cable came out and said that that's what they were interested in trading the $500 million for.
That must be a pretty charming painting. That's all I got to say, It better be party.
I don't know. We ran a picture of it in the 5-minute forecast, the daily that I write. And I was looking at it going, well, it's interesting, but
well, give me the name of the painting. I'll pull it up here.
I don't have the name of the painting off the top of my head, but I'll get it to you. And I believe it was painted by Pizarro. So it has import to the Spanish government.
Okay, I just put that in. And Pizarro, Spanish, Odyssey, gold. Or treasure, I'll bet you it comes up. Let me see what we got here. Yep. Hit the image here. Yep. And no. Well, we'll get it up because I think this. Yeah, I think this is interesting because this is something that I'm really concerned with because it's just so representative of how you just kill any motivation in an economy to do anything. It's like, can I please just be left alone and I'll make all kinds of money and the economy will be better? Well, that was kind of the gist of your documentary. Go ahead and tell me about the genesis of that. Why did you pick this particular company to target?
We've known Odyssey Marine for some time because their commercial model, their business is an interesting one to begin with. They have been trying to introduce a commercial model into the shipwreck salvage business for a number of years, and they have an innovative approach to finding shipwrecks. They've developed the tools to go out and do it, and it's very capital intensive. It takes a lot of money. They have 6 boats that go around the world right now, and ships. They're huge. They go around and they have historians and archaeologists and oceanographers on staff. For example, the guy who helped identify and bring up the Titanic is their chief deep sea underwater salvage expert. They have an incredible staff and a huge burn rate. It costs a lot of money to employ all these people and keep the boats in the water. And the only way that they can finance the whole thing is when they find shipwrecks and are able to bring up the treasure that they find and return things that aren't of archaeological value, of historic value, back to the stream of commerce. So things like bottles and coins and things that might be of interest to collectors but don't really tell anything about how people lived on those boats or what direction they were going in or something that's important to the historical value of that shipwreck. They've introduced this model, but they've been met with resistance from the academic community, from UNESCO, they put out a treaty saying that everything underwater that's either 100 years old or older is the province of the United Nations, that you can't even touch it. You're not allowed to touch these shipwrecks, and there's 3 million of them on the bottom of the ocean, and the UN says you're not allowed to touch them because they're the province of the United Nations. So there's already a lot going on with the company that doesn't even have to do with this deal that was struck between or offered up between the State Department and
time out. Give me this ocean floor United Nations thing. What?
Well, that's an interesting part of the story. That's why I was saying that as we were making the film, there was already enough meat and entertaining details about Odyssey Marine to tell an entire story before this WikiLeaks thing came out. But what happened is there's an idea among academic archaeologists that only academics can do archaeology at the bottom of the ocean, that they're the only ones that have the true interest of humanity in mind when they go down to salvage and or preserve the shipwrecks. Anybody who's doing that for a profit, as Odyssey Marine wants to do, is not allowed to go down and either find the shipwrecks or do anything when they find them by this thing called the UNESCO Commission on Underwater Heritage Preservation. And the interesting thing about it, it was enacted. They had to get 20 countries to sign on to this treaty to preserve all of the underwater shipwrecks. 14 of the countries that sign on don't even have coastlines.
Okay. Let me go ahead and ask a couple of questions. The United Nations has laid claim to what? The ocean floor?
Yeah.
Artifacts that might be on the ocean floor?
Anything that was man-made that lies on the ocean floor that's 100 years old or older. And we were already doing this in the film before some of the current intrigue came out. But the analogy would be if you bought a house in Arizona that was over 100 years old, and if that same law applied to everything on land, you wouldn't be able to make any additions to the house or dig in the backyard to see what's laying down there from somebody who lived there before, or tear it down. You wouldn't be able to do anything to it unless you got the UN's permission.
How long has this been?
It's actually being enacted now. They just got it passed in 2007.
Aren't there people that see this as, oh my goodness? I mean, aren't they?
Well, Odyssey Marine, for one, that's part of the reason why we're interested in talking to them and making a film about it, that this is the kind of thing that it usually is relegated to the arcane details of academia. But here's a company that's actually out there trying to do something about it, and they're not even getting help from their own government.
Wow. And who is their government? The United States?
Yes. They're based out of Tampa.
Wow. This is it's typical. I want to see the movie. When we come back, we'll find out when that movie's coming out, and I got some pictures I've been putting up for you guys to see. Wow.